So as we begin, it's kind of surprising that we left this topic, didn't address this topic for so long. It seems to be a recurring theme with many of us. And while we'll first talk about, I don't know much about the psychological aspects of it. I only deal with the energy aspects of it. And while there's a full, there's a full therapy and there is all kinds of stuff that you can address those issues by looking at it from the very much the physical aspect of it. But today, and as with every day, I speak about the energetic aspect of it. So to begin with, a story from my past, and the story, many of you might have even heard it. So one day I was sitting and I was taking, guidances and all of that. And in that, something was bothering me. Something I was not able to get to the crux of the issue. Like, what is the problem? And I was not able to get to it. And at that point in time, I remember kind of asking Mani, saying, okay, I'm not able to understand, where am I going with this? What is happening? What am I feeling? I am feeling so pent up and so, so filled with so much of anger. And what is happening over here? Whatever the story was outside, but I was filled with a lot of anger. And Mani said to me, the anger is coming from your frequency of abandonment, the frequency, the experience of abandonment, your frequencies that were kind of, brought out when you were going through abandonment. And I was like, going through abandonment? But I went through my entire life as much as I know it. So I felt that I had never been abandoned. I had left situations. I had let go of people. I had done that many times over. But in none of those places that I could remember had I ever been through an abandonment state. So I couldn't understand. And so as I was meditating, and here was the most amazing thing that came to me. It can't be a memory because I don't even remember when I was that age. So it wasn't a memory, but it was what I had heard. And the memory of that hearing is what came to me in that moment. And what had I heard? That when I was 1 day old, or probably 2 days old, when I was just born, my mother was so unwell. The doctors had screwed up and they had left some umbilical cord inside, and she was close to the death point because she was just, she was bleeding and she was not able to get up. And at that point in time when that was happening, I was by the side and I was crying out for her. And I'm crying out for her, and she comes to pick me up, but she cannot reach me. And she collapsed right there in a pool of blood. And there was nobody at home. So I'm crying and she's over there. Somebody just happened to, these coincidences which are so beautiful. Somebody just happened to drop in, and she was a nurse and she had come to say hello to mom. And as soon as she saw what was happening over there and there was nobody at home, my father had gone to get something and, there was not any help available. My Nana was not around. Those were the two people in the house, and they were not around. And as soon as she saw that, she rushed my mother to the hospital. And then my mother had some way to recovery because there was a problem that there was poison in her body now. This is what was happening to the mother. In this story, when I was sitting quietly and trying to gather, where am I experiencing this experience of abandonment? This is the story that came to me. And so Mani said to me, now put your focus on the little one. You put your focus on the little one, and I could see that the 1 day old or 2 days old baby is extremely, extremely distraught. And the baby is going through this experience of nobody is listening to me, nobody cares for me, nobody is coming towards me, nobody is coming to help me. Where is my mother? And so, not knowing what is happening in the general scenario, this was my moment of experiencing abandonment. Can you even imagine a 2 day old baby? When we say to, oh, these are just children, they do not know. And Mani showed to me on that particular day that a 2-day-old child had decided to experience abandonment. At this point, at a 2-day interval, it had decided to experience abandonment by the mother. And it is so amazing that when I looked at my relationship after that, the relationship was more stronger with Mani, the father, and not with the mother. And I could never understand why. And here was the reason, that already at day 2, I had decided to experience the abandonment, as if she has abandoned. And then what happened over the next few days? I saw she's not around. She's not around. She's not coming to pick me up. She's not doing anything for me. She's not there. And who is there? The father is there. So the father became the support, and the mother is the one who has abandoned. When you look back at something like this, and you can even laugh it off, saying, oh, such a silly thing, but that is how silly the outside stories are when we have to go through an experience. In that moment, the story for that 2-day-old, 3-day-old child was complete to make it experience that frequency of anxiety, the frequency of panic, the state of abandonment, so much sadness that goes with the abandonment, that nobody cares for me. I have been left behind. Nobody cares. So this is where, many of us come from, even in our grown-up lives. And how do we experience, or what is it that we normally feel when we are going through and we have abandonment issues and we are going through life? We constantly keep feeling that whoever is around us, they don't value us. They don't value us. They're going to leave us at any point in time because, we are not worth their attention. And so we have this fear of losing our loved ones, not so much to death, even though death is simply another play where we can feel abandoned. Through death also, many times when we are young and when somebody leaves us, even through death, we get into this place of, oh, I have been abandoned by them. They had to leave me now. They did this and now they have abandoned me. They have left me to my own devices. They have left me to my own self. They didn't care. They just simply packed their bags and left the planet. So we can even experience the abandonment from that place. But even otherwise, when somebody leaves us, when that play happens, we have already many a times lived through it. We have lived through it. So fearful are we of losing somebody. So fearful are we of being left alone, that we will be left alone, that nobody cares for us, nobody will come to our side, we will not be taken care of by anyone, that we will actually, many a times this is something that happens with people who are going through abandonment issues, that they will keep bad relationships around them. Bad relationships. And right now, I'm only talking on the outside, because what is a bad relationship? We'll come back to that later. But right now, just to talk at the body level, that you might be in a relationship that is not even serving you. You might be in a relationship that is making you feel really, really sad, bad about yourself every single day. And yet you might not be able to let go of that person, of that relationship, simply because you are sitting with the fears of abandonment. So you might go on with a relationship a lot longer than somebody who can see that, oh, this is not working for me, and decide that, okay, this is done. This is on the surface of it. This is in the very, in the very physical realm, where we are discussing the abandonment issues. Abandonment issues. When we begin to understand the energies, when we begin to understand the energies and are able to look at this whole thing about the fear that we will lose people, The fear that I am not going to be taken care of, that I am going to die alone. These are all coming from abandonment issues. What is the word that I'm mostly using here? Fear. It is a fear that I sit in about losing something, losing a loved one. And at this place, when I sit and I'm manifesting my relationships from here, from this space, when I manifest, from the place of abandonment issues, when I manifest my relationships, what are they going to bring back to me even more? I will be in a relationship and every day living through the dread of a bad relationship going worse, living through the dread of it all, and yet clinging to it, not moving away from it because nobody cares for me. Nobody will love me. Nobody will love me anymore after this. What I have is what I have. I will not get anything else. I will not get any better. This situation will only get worse. And so I might as well stick to this situation and take whatever I am getting in the form of love. Many of us who know ourselves now, can we also see through it, which is the state of love for the self that we are sitting in? Zero. Zero state of love for the self. Why? Because in this place, we are constantly trying to validate our worth from the outside. Looking at validation from the outside. Oh, I hope he loves me. I hope she doesn't leave me. I hope I'm going to be able to carry through this relationship with them. The finger on the outside and not towards your own self. You will take anything, all kinds of abuses, so to speak, when you are sitting in this space of zero love for the self. And from this space, so it is actually the abandonment issue that is creating this lack of love for the self. It is the abandonment issue, that fear of abandonment, that is also creating all the anxieties in you. And from that space, so much anxiety. Will he be here or not? Will he be with me or not? Will she last this relationship or not? So much of anxiety from this. And what does this anxiety further take us towards? It takes us to mistrust. Mistrust of the other. Oh, they must be doing something behind my back. They are not what they seem to be. They can't be loving me. They cannot be loving me because I am not worthy of the love. And when we come from this space of not being worthy for the love, not trusting the universe, not trusting people in the universe, what is going to keep coming back to us? Well, exactly this, exactly what we have created, exactly our own creation will be reflected back to us. And so now when we are beginning to look at the energies of abandonment, the first step for our own self to begin with is I love myself. That self-love is the first step towards anything. The self-love, when it comes in, the fear that nobody else will ever be with me, that I will be left alone, nobody cares, I will not find anyone who will care. All of those questions go out the door only because when you are sitting in self-love, you are complete. You are complete as is, without needing someone, without feeling the lack of someone. You are simply sitting in completeness of the moment and you are complete. From that space of feeling complete, feeling the love for yourself, you will get love. It's not possible that you will not get love. You will get love. You just might not get them from the places that you have put your finger on. Oh, I should receive love from my son. I should receive love from my daughter. I should receive love from my spouse. Might be, might not that be. They might have a very different role that you have given to them. And that might be the extent of the role. But it's not about them. It is only about us. And so as we sit more and more, feeling complete, feeling no reason for validation from the outside, because I know that whether today good or today bad, but I am Shiva. I am Shiva. From that space of I am Shiva, we accept ourselves as all the properties that we hold, all our characteristics. Oh, I'm lazy, I'm wonderful, I'm so kind, I'm so compassionate, I'm also rude. All of those qualities are accepted by us only simply, only simply when we feel complete. Otherwise, we will always be looking at our own self with regret. Oh, I'm not like this, so I don't deserve their love. And then the minute we come to this deserving, whether I deserve something or I don't deserve something, now it's all open for judgment. Are you going to truly sit on the program that serves you, or are you going to sit in these programs of non-complete, validations from the outside, that I need a validation from people outside to tell me how wonderful I am? And only then will I think that I'm worth something. The minute I go in that direction, I have already lost that string, that connection with myself. I'm only looking on the outside, eyes are outside. I have lost the connect with myself. In abandonment, when somebody abandons us, firstly, we might even go through denial, not being able to accept, and then, of course, through a lot of sadness. We might even then come towards a lot of anger, And then sometimes the anger is towards the outside, but most of the times the anger again is towards the self. It is towards the self that, oh, I am not good enough. I am not worthy of keeping somebody's attention. I am not worthy of having children. I am not worthy of being a good wife. Whatever the stories that you are playing on this outside front, the only answer in the energies is to come back, bring the finger within, and recognize that this space is all about loving the self. Loving the self. So, just a second, let's see, somebody is in the participants talking, or I can hear them. Malika. Okay. All right. So, yeah, the place of self-love. The place of self-love when we are going through abandonment issues. So that's the first piece of it. Abandonment is resting in a lot of sadness. And while we understand that sadness is just a frequency, sadness is just a frequency, and we can begin to shift the frequency as we get into more and more of self-love. Already we are going to be able to shift out of the sadness. But I want to take you to some of the understandings that Mani gave to me when we were discussing sadness at one point in time. So talking about the sadness frequency, there was a time when I said, everything is wonderful. I'm feeling so much love. I'm sitting in so much joy. And why is it that every time, every few months, every few days, every now and then, there is this deep sadness which takes over? And it is almost that I have lost something. And now I understand that you have gone, I'm speaking to Mani, and I'm telling him, I understand that you have gone, but this sadness that I'm feeling that you went away, you are no longer in the physical, that sadness I have looked into and released. And I understand that you are still here very much so in the energies. You also told me that everybody that you sent to me is money. And so from that space, I'm no longer feeling that sadness that, oh, money went away. And yet I am feeling some kind of sadness, which I'm not able to explain. And it almost, and he'll tell me in the answer where it almost borders on that abandonment sadness. And what the answer he gave to me was, when you were a part of the source, when you were part of the energy, and the first time that the energy separated, a particle separated, and that was you. The particle had to separate to get this experience. So the first time that you actually separated from the source to become a tiny little particle, to experience everything else that your energy wishes to experience, to grow the frequencies for the universe. But the first time that you separated from the source, the first emotion that you felt was sadness. That was the first emotion that you actually felt. It was not, astonishment. I would think it would be like, oh my God, what the hell? Wow, what is this happening? No, it was actually sadness at being thrown out, so to speak, for experiences, being separated from the source for experiences. So this separation, this sadness at the separation, is one of the first emotions that you felt. And when I kind of thought about it, I was like, wow, so even when we come to masti and we come to joy, and just before we've started to release all our emotions, we've started to work on ourselves, the energy is shifting to masti more and more. But even as the layer of masti is revealed every now and then, as it is taken off, that mastika frequency, it actually shows you sadness underneath that layer. And this is before you hit the blankness. You have to go through this sadness to understand the sadness as well, because it is very core. It is a very, very core experience to us. It was the first experience of the first emotion that we felt, and that emotion was sadness from the separation, getting separated from the source. And so when Mani told me this, and I said, okay, so how do I then look at this sadness, and how do I remove this separation? And the answer, once the understanding is there, the answer is very simple, because you begin to look at it every time this sadness hits you of being abandoned by the source. The source has abandoned you. Now the source is separate, and now you are separate as a particle, and your experiences are happening on your source, and you have no connection. And then it would almost, so the answer that Mani gave to me was, you're the drop of water that has separated from the ocean, but you're still the water. The ocean might be just a big body, but you have all the properties of that which the ocean holds. And your recognition that you are indeed the ocean in the drop. You are not separate from the ocean. You are carrying that entire ocean in the drop that you are. And you can then come to this place of recognition that you are indeed the source. So when we feel this abandonment from anyone, whether it's our parent or it's our spouse or it's somebody or the other, we have forgotten that we are only here for experiences. And now these experiences start to look like, oh my God, they're going to carry on forever, and I will have no one, I will be no one. All of that stuff, when all of that is happening to you, the simple reminder to yourself, I am the source. And when you give this reminder to yourself, I am the source, even this creation of sadness is now in your hands. Whether you wish to create more of this sadness or you wish to release it is simply a choice that now belongs to you. A choice that now belongs to you. So beautifully, that understanding that you are feeling the separation from the source, and that is the layer of sadness that you are hitting right now. It made me even more aware whenever that sadness would come in, and I would feel separation, not necessarily from the source, but we think of ourselves in separation from so many people. Oh, this is not me, this is not him. I was just having a conversation on our guide group right now when somebody was experiencing so much of separation with money. That, oh, money is different. I take guidance from myself. Correct. Money is your guidance frequency. It is you only that the guidance frequency is coming through. It is your guidance frequency. The name is money. The money exists outside, but does the money not exist within you the minute you say, I am money? Does Meenal not exist within you? Is it not your frequency of masti? Who is experiencing the frequencies of masti when you say, I am Meenal, I take energy from Meenal? So the separation that you feel from Meenal, it will happen. On days it will happen that you will feel the separation. But if that separation is making you sad, then what is it that you have to come to? I am that. I am Meenal or I am Mani, and that separation will cease to exist. From that place, from that oneness, where is the question of any kind of abandonment at all? Who are you not? Who has abandoned you? Whoever has abandoned you, it is you only. It is you only who had to go through that experience, and through that experience, go through some sadness, go through some anxieties, go through even the separation. We actually have a term, for children who go through separation anxiety when they have to go to school, when they are separated from the parent. Now, can you just see in the bigger context of things? It is simply as if you are that child, that little particle who got separated from the source, and you think that the source is no more there. And you're feeling the separation anxiety from the source. So underneath this abandonment, what frequencies are we here to experience? The frequencies of sadness, anxiety, all of this fear of being left behind, and of course, the lack of love for the self. So through all of these, when you're able to see your emotions, the frequencies that this abandonment thought has tuned you into, then you simply move to the other side. You move to the energy space. And in the energies, there is only oneness. There is only an experience that you are here to receive. And somebody has to give that experience to you. Somebody has to be with you in that role to be able to help you experience, to be able to help you experience these frequencies. So all of us who have, many people, even between siblings, many people will be like, no, my father loves this one more and not me so much. And they feel abandoned by the father. When you begin to understand energies, the fingers will not be outside anymore. The fingers will simply come back in to say, this is the experience I chose. This is the actor I chose to give me that experience. It is my choice. And so when that happened to me, when I chose to experience abandonment at day 2, well, the first thing that I did when I was healing myself in that moment, I went over there, I picked up my younger self, and I patted them saying, it's okay. You are never abandoned. You are never abandoned by anyone, because no one outside exists. It is only you. And you can sit in this understanding that all of the play is here because you wished to experience it. And I told her, I said, you are done with the abandonment experience at day 2 itself. So thank the actor that you didn't have to, experience it more and more and go through with it. Because really, after that, I never got to experience abandonment again. But it was just meant for me in that little piece, in that little experience. It was meant to give me that experience, and the experience was over. It doesn't matter how long you have stretched that experience. Now you can come to the energy space, and now you can simply finish off the experience. And finishing off the experience is not about, oh, I'm going to tell that actor to stop behaving like this. I have to walk away from there. It is simply bringing the finger to yourself with love. When the finger comes back here with love, I am love. I chose to experience this, and now I can choose to experience something else. The power lies with me. The power belongs to me. Okay, let us see. Anybody has any questions on abandonment at this point in time? This understanding of separation from the source as being that first place, it was totally mind-boggling, because never in my life would have actually, through my brains, through my limited intelligence that I have, never would have actually imagined. I would have thought that at the base of everything is joy. At the base of, once you've released everything, you should only be left with joy. That was my thinking. And when I came to joyfulness, I was like, wow, I've reached, I've gone where I have to go, where I had to go, I have already reached. When it kept flipping between the sadness and then I would move it back to joyfulness, the answer was to not move away from sadness, firstly, to accept that sadness, that I'm allowed to. When I got separated from that source, I'm allowed to feel sad. And from that place of accepting the sadness went and the joy also went. It was that place of blankness where everything as is. It came with a new experience of joy, and that joy doesn't look like the joy that I feel when I go out, with friends or something. That's a different kind of joy, which is just a feeling of blank, happy state, a feeling of all is well with the world. Every story is just a story, to be able to see right through every illusion. And that is the place we get to when we have released not just the sadness, but even this wanting to stay in joyfulness at all times. Even that need to be in joyfulness at all times is now simply released. And so when we are able to release that need of joy, when we're able to accept whatever is coming by to us, then we reach that place of what we call bliss. Bliss. Wonderful. I'd experienced abandonment when I was 4 to 5 years old, and that came back unhealed in the recent times. And I went through a host of emotions. Thanks to Mani Meenal, I'm healed and I have just accepted it. I would even want to ask you to put down, if the emotions were not already covered, if there are many other emotions that you experienced apart from, of course, sadness and anxiety and anger and lack of love for the self. And yeah, those are the emotions that we could catch with the issues of abandonment. But if you felt something else, please do share. And that would be lovely to be able to understand, the emotions that one can go through from this separation anxiety, from the abandon, from the feeling of being abandoned. So much for abandonment issues, because the only answer in the energies, you can go out there and you can heal yourself from looking at the other and saying, it was not meant to be. But the only answer that will heal you fully, that will heal you at all times fully, is when the finger comes back over here. I created that experience. I was 2 days old. I created that experience. At 2 days old, it was my energy that wished to experience. And so I created that experience. And so from that place is where the healing can truly begin, because it is the claiming of the power that you thought you didn't have. It is always there, but you just simply thought that you don't have that power. Somebody else has power over you. Somebody else has a right to, can leave you, can abandon you, can let you be, and you will have to suffer the consequences. And all of those limitations of the mind, those non-serving beliefs, can be let go when we understand that I chose this experience. All right. Great, fabulous. Anybody else wishes to ask me a question or share their experiences about the abandonment piece? No? No? All questions have been answered forever? Okay then. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. Take a deep breath in and exhale. And with your next breath in, Tap on your forehead. Tap on your forehead. I take energy from Meenal. I am Meenal. I am Meenal. I take energy from Meenal. I am Meenal. And then this line to yourself. I trust. I fully trust myself. I fully trust myself. I fully, completely trust myself. All my experiences that I am creating, I trust the purpose of those experiences. I trust the purpose of those experiences. This is a conversation that you're having with yourself. You're talking this way to yourself. I trust all my experience because all my experiences are here to bring me to oneness. All my experiences of separation are simply here to bring me to oneness. And with this conversation, now, simply bringing to your thoughts some of the people that might have given you an experience of abandonment. If there has been an experience, if you've ever been afraid that you might lose someone, that would count under the experience of abandonment. So if you've ever been afraid of losing, if you've ever been insecure in a relationship, those would all be the experiences of abandonment that you have chosen through those actors. So bring those actors in front of you right now. And firstly, we begin with gratitude. So gratitude to every actor. Take your time in being thankful from the heart, this thankfulness, because they agreed to play for you this role, this really difficult role they had to play for you. Your energies demanded this role and they had to play it for you. So in this moment, bringing them in the energies, bringing them to you, and you being in gratitude to those that helped you experience the abandonment. Thank you for all of those emotions that you helped me experience. My energies created those experiences through you. Through you, my energies created those experiences for me. And now, simply hug those actors one by one and let them go. Let them go. And now you're all by yourself, alone. No one around you. You are there, all by yourself, completely alone, completely complete. Complete you are in this moment. Your heart is free of all the tugs and the heartbreaks and the aches and the sadness, the anxieties and the worries that come when you think of another. Because in this moment, there is no other. In this moment, you are complete by yourself. Watch yourself in this body. You are this body. I am this body. I accept my body. I allow myself to experience all the body experiences that are coming to me through this shape, this form. I allow all my experience. And now, imagine a huge downpour, a shower, if you please, of love. Whichever way leads to your imagination, it could be a beautiful downpour of a light, it could be a shower, it could be anything, but you are in this huge, thunderous downpour of love. Completely drenched you are in this moment with this love that is being poured on you. Maybe a beautiful light that you're sitting in, and this light is just simply expanding all around you. This is simply love. Love there is in you, and love there is all around you. And you are drenched in this love. Complete you are in this love. What is this love? What is this downpour? This is exactly what the source looks like in this moment. You in the body, and you as the energy of love. And as this love is pouring at you, your energy of love and you, the both of them simply immersed in each other, drenched with love you are. And this is your energy of love. So experience this love in you and around you. Complete I am. Every pore of mine is filled with love, love for myself. Bring to yourself a vision of you as a baby, as a child, whatever you wish to see. A tiny little baby, a toddler, a cute little child, or even maybe when you were a little bit older. Any part of you that wishes to receive love in this moment, you simply visualize that energy in front of you. And as you visualize that energy in front of you, reach out to your own self and hug yourself. Hug yourself in this moment. That you, from a past memory, standing in front of you. And as you look at that little self of yours, simply reach out and hug them fully, drenching them in the love that you feel. Feel that love with that little self of yours. Feel that love completely breaking through all the barriers and reaching straight to their heart. And you will look at their face and they will burst into a beautiful smile. When they experience that love, when you have experienced that love, you will be in that beautiful smile. See that little self of yours smiling. Hug them a little bit more, a little bit more. Whatever you are seeing in front of you as your younger self, ask them, are you feeling any separation from me? Ask them, are you feeling any separation from you? If they are still feeling the separation, simply hug them a little bit more. If the hug is not doing its job, call me in. When I come into the picture, they will hug. All of that love from me to them is going to be received by you and you, from me to you. And so, if their love to themselves feels incomplete, call me in and I will complete the picture. But if you can already feel that joy, that love from you to yourself, your tiny self and your older self, if you can feel the love, the story is complete. Oh, money, oh, money, oh, money. Why is that? Question is being asked. Why is that? I don't want to shift the frequency of sadness and pain, even though I accept it. If you have accepted it, then there will really be no rush to change the frequency. It's okay to be sitting in that frequency of sadness because this is an aware sadness. The unaware sadness can pull us down. It can make us so sad that we won't know how to come out of it. But when we are in aware sadness, when we know this is just a frequency, it's just a frequency that has come to be experienced for whatever reason, it has come to be experienced. But you to understand this is just a frequency, then there will be no hard push for you to exercise that choice. No, I have to move it right now. I must move it. I cannot be sitting in sadness. It's just a frequency. And so from that space, there is no, that is true acceptance because there is no rush to change anything. Even if the sadness comes, it is perfect. It is perfect. So be in that space and know that it is just a frequency. Maybe the aware sadness wishes to be experienced by you. Maybe that's the experience that your energy is asking for. And this aware sadness, experience it. Feel it in your body. Where all do you feel sad, but don't be overwhelmed by it. That, oh, if I sit in this sadness, it's going to drag me down. It's never going to move. What will I do? I will never be happy. Very happy and sad are both simply just experiences. Happiness moves to sadness just like this, and sadness moves to happiness just like that. So, firstly, fully experience, accept your sadness for what it is. What is it? It's just a frequency. It is just a frequency. Wonderful. Okay. Yes, Soumya, you have a question? One question.
Yes, me. जैसे हाँ, you pointed out कि हम ये unserving belief रखते हैं that कि someone won't stick around या फिर people will leave. But then हम जब ये abandonment drop off कर रहे हैं and on the other side of it, isn't it कि हम एक expectation भी create कर रहे हैं कि someone will then stay या फिर कि they'll be there. मतलब um मतलब I
The
felt कि यहाँ पर
minute
सिर्फ
you
एक
are
expectation
creating
create
an
हो रही है.
expectation, I always tell people, I always tell people that the whole point of inner work is to empty yourself. That's it. Is to keep emptying yourself. So, जिस दिन तुम्हें ये नजर आ जाए कि तुमने ये expectation create कर ली है, on that day, empty yourself of that expectation. When you are working on yourself to say, I'm releasing this fear of losing someone. I'm releasing my sadness of losing someone. I'm releasing this anxiety that I might lose someone. The work is done at the release of the sadness. That is the work done. If you then say, okay, I've released all my sadness, now this person should stay. Well, you've created an expectation. And expectation has a very nice link to hurt. Expectation just has a very nice link to attachment and to hurt. And so, if you form that expectation, it'll take you back again to some hurt. It'll take you back again, and hurt is all about sadness. So, it'll take you back again to that sadness. So, when you recognize your expectation, what is it that you will do? You will release the expectation because that is your next step. Today, you release this, you formed an expectation. Well, tomorrow when you do potty again, because the potty is every day, the work on the self is every day. If you created an expectation, you are saying, oh, I can create this expectation and then what? Then what? The minute you catch the expectation, if you wish to work on yourself, do some inner work on that day, well, that's what you will do. You will look at the expectation and see what all you're holding the other person accountable for, that he should never leave me. He is mine. He should stay with me. As a matter of fact, today my FB post is then for you. Let me read it out to you if I can find it right now. It's all about attachment. So the work is every day. This is mine. This belongs to me. This should always stay mine. I wish to control it only because it's mine. Putting the stamp of mine on anything will open you up to being hurt and experiencing heartache, because the word mine comes laden with expectations of forever and more. And those expectations create the heartache. What is yours? Even your next breath, you are not sure of. Then how can you claim your stake on anything that's outside of you? And that's exactly what you're saying. Oh, when I work on my energy self, then I get this expectation that everything that is mine will only stay with me. Well, my darling, that's not what the energy work is all about. This is you simply, again, putting your finger on the outside and claiming something else to be yours. And so, to bring this truth home, sometimes a wave appears in our universe. Sometimes a wave appears in our universe. We think that wave has come to destroy that which is ours, but it is actually here to expand our little universe, to make us internalize that the universe is ours. It has come to make us internalize that the universe is ours, not to be controlled, but to be enjoyed for now. No expectations of tomorrow. This is where your answer is. No expectations of tomorrow. Simply this moment as is. Through the wave, your universe is being made to expand, not to shrink. And may you recognize that as well. You are not this body, you are energy, you are the universe. So recognize the purpose of every storm that has played out in your life. And one of the storms is what we discussed today, abandonment. That would be the storm that would, that you would say, oh, this was a storm in my life, I experienced abandonment, but it has a purpose to actually expand you, to bring you to oneness, to bring you to oneness. Every experience of ours is here to bring us to oneness. And that's where the story is. So when you say, oh, I might have expectations, and so what is your next plan of action? That will tell you. at the end of meditation, there is happy, happy tears. And I felt that I'm unconditional love. Wonderful. Wanted to do the deeper release today, and it's done now in ease and grace. Absolutely, absolutely. Question from a friend listening to you on YouTube. Can you ask? Abandonment is a recurring theme for me. Parents, partners, colleagues, everyone keeps leaving me. I've experienced enough of it and want to shift to frequency of love and masti. How can I make the lasting changes? Well, everything, as we understand it, when we look at the energies, everything is just a frequency. The sadness that you experience from abandonment is as much a frequency as joy is. And when you recognize, begin to become aware that everything is simply just one of the 600 channels that we can watch on television, then the choices become more and more yours as to which channel I am going to watch on my television. So I have many, many ways to change your frequency. I have many tools. And as a matter of fact, I have a free program coming up on the 27th of May, which you can join. And that program is just filled with understandings of the self. Because this line itself, the first line that you say, it's a repeat pattern. I've had a recurring theme of this from parents and partners and whoever, vagara, vagara. Everywhere, it is going to be the same pattern playing out, because what does abandonment grow for you? It grows the frequency of sadness and anxiety and worry and mistrust. And the more it grows within you, the more it is going to reflect outside. And so you will keep going through these circles till you bring back the finger here saying, oh, this is my energy, which is what the entire conversation was in this entire thing. It is my energy. These people helped me create my experiences. So when it is my energy, who can change it? I can change it. And then all of those tools, I have something called the positivity process, which is for you to recognize the frequency that you're playing with a very simple question. What am I feeling? 100 times in a day, if you will address that question, what am I feeling? You will begin to catch your own vibrations. What is the frequency that you vibrate at? The more you catch your frequency that you vibrate at, the more the choice is open. Do I wish to continue with this, or do I wish to change it? And as an alternate channel to watch, I offer people my frequency. My frequency is filled with masti, filled with abundance, filled with joyfulness, and has all the answers. It has all the answers. And what is it? It's just a frequency. Even this frequency, which sounds so sexy, ye bhi hai, wo bhi hai, sab kuch hai. But even that is just a frequency. So you can take on that frequency. If you wish, there is a 13-minute meditation. I tell people to listen to that. But it's a 2-stage process. You are so full of your own energy field that firstly, you do the positivity process, the candle process, the separation of yourself. I am not just this experience. Even if I'm going through the worst sadness right now, I am not just this experience of sadness. I am something greater. And I now know that I'm something greater. And so I will choose an alternate frequency. But as I said, there are so many different tools. I have 200 webinars on YouTube. You can look at many of them. You can go through this particular webinar again. But the tools you will find on my website, the tools you will find on my webinars, and I keep handing them out, and I keep going through these kind of meditations. All of them will help you recognize your vibration, and then you can tune into mine. Okay, everybody, lots and lots of love. Thank you so much.